An X-wing in Sudoku is a specific arrangement of potential digits that shows up quite often. The most common way this is seen is when you have two sets of corner markings that line up in two directions at the same time. Let's look at an example. In this grid, we have a pair of corner markings in both box 1 and box 3. Notice that each pair lines up vertically so you can eliminate 8s from the rest of the cells in the columns. But you will notice that these corner markings also line up across rows. Let's think about what this means. In box 1, there are only going to be two valid positions for the 8. The 8 will either be in row 1 or row 3. But notice that if the 8 is in row 1 of box 1, it will eliminate the possibility for box 3 and forces the 8 into row 3. This creates a logical connection between row 1 column 2 and row 3 column 7. Similarly, if the 8 is in row 3 of box 1, that forces the 8 in box 3 to be in row 1, which creates a logical connection between these cells. If we think about the two possibilities and the linkages that are created, it forms an X. This is where the X in X-wing comes from. But we're not done with the logic yet. We have just shown that the 8 in row 1 is in either column 2 or column 7, and the 8 in row 3 is in the opposite position. And even though we don't know which configuration we'll be in, we know that the 8s cannot appear anywhere else in those rows. This creates restrictions for the 8 in box 2. It cannot be in row 1, and it cannot be in row 3, so it must be in row 2. In this puzzle, that gives us the exact location because there's only one available position remaining. But this can also lead us to add corner markings or even center markings. The logic of X-wings is not limited to corner markings. It can also happen with center markings, but this is a bit harder to spot. The key idea is that X-wing logic works when a single digit is limited to exactly two positions in either two rows or two columns, and it happens that those positions line up with each other in the other direction. The first step of the logic is that we can eliminate the digit from all the other positions in the row or column. When this happens, you get the X-shaped logical connection, which leads to the elimination of the digit in the opposite direction. It is important that the first step holds, otherwise the logic breaks down. Here's an example of an X-wing with center markings. If we look at row 4, we can see that the digit 5 is restricted to columns 2 and 7 by the 5-9 center markings. And then if we look at row 8, the 5 is restricted to columns 2 and 7 by the 5-6 center markings. This gives us the X-shaped relationship on the digit 5, and so we can extend the logic from rows to columns and eliminate 5s as possibilities from the rest of columns 2 and 7, and that can help us continue to make progress on the puzzle. Incidentally, this logic can extend to more complex scenarios. When it involves 3 rows and columns, it's called a swordfish, and when it involves 4 rows and columns, it's called a jellyfish. These situations are harder to identify, but the underlying logic is the same. We know that the particular digit is restricted to certain positions in either rows or columns, and those positions line up to create restrictions in the other direction.